where we just have a sanity check to make sure we haven't knocked any wires off. That'll do, I think. We've got enough room to get something behind, haven't we? Yeah. In this video, the Oltcit has gone back to not starting, so we're pushing it about. We're just going to assess, try and work out where the play is on the front end. So although we're not really progressing with the Oltcit project because we're into autumn now, so what's the point rushing to get this car on the road? We can at least try and work out what bits we need and try and get hold of those bits. So yeah, we'll try and work out why there's play. You can actually see this wheel wobbling about when it's driving into the unit under its own power. She doesn't want to today. So we'll try and give things a assess. We might even try and get her running again. But starting to think what I actually need is a carburettor from a Citroen GSA, because it is the same engine. And there is a GSA. Let's just nick Giselle's. Is that not a good idea?
Did you not just get her fixed?
Yeah, I'm back in love with Giselle again. Oh. So yeah, we're kind of having a bits of sort of a day. We've just been having a look at the Fiat Multipla. So there'll be a full video coming on that at some point. We've got some things to do on Ellie, who's being used as a door shield at the moment because I left the keys at home. And yeah, might even start looking at Shemi the Charade. Hurrah! Hurrah! So I'm just checking the rack. The rack plate. It's quite unusual that the rack, the pinion is right here in the middle, but you can pull these back, and that's where the track rod adjusters are. It all seems a bit easier to get at than the GSA. The GSA, I think the rack is underneath the gearbox, which makes it more of a pain, especially as these rubbers actually go through the subframe on the GSA, and they're a pain in the backside. This is what the MOT machines do these days. They've got shaker plates, yes, but do this, and the man can stand underneath, or woman, and look where the play is. Oh, my microphone's fallen out, sorry.
Go on. Yes, it's here.
Okay.
At the top. Do it again. Yeah.
Oh, is it your gadget?
Yeah.
I haven't seen the
Look
gadget
at that.
for a while.
Oh, Mr. Gadget.
That's a lovely thing, that
I
is.
bet you've thrown it with a 10.
Yeah. We seem to have an awful lot of play here. You might be able to see this is wobbling about up and down and back and forth. It seems to have an awful lot of play in it. There's quite the clonk going on. It's a very different setup to the GSA, where all this is mounted underneath the gearbox, but at least means it's actually quite accessible from above. So I think we're going to go and see if we can remove this. I'm not sure we can, but we'll have a go and investigate further. This is quite a handy hint. We've just been on the Autodoc website looking at inner track rod ends, and it looks like the part that goes into the rack with the cup where we think the play is, you can buy that as a complete unit in theory for £10. Actually, they don't have any stock, but at least it's confirmed what the bits look like and what bit we actually need. So hopefully we can try and track one of those down from Romania. That's why we're doing this now, even though we're not racing to get this car finished. We don't know how long it's going to take to get parts, so we're just identifying which bits we need. So hopefully some sort of progress is still being made. This is the third job we're tackling today. I have no idea what order the videos are actually going to appear in, but we are changing Ellie's exhaust crossbox, because when I took her to Pete Sparrow to have the carburettor tuned, there was a very odd vibration noise. That odd vibration noise has been getting worse, and before we write off the engine, experience teaches us that these things, the baffles can go, so you can get some very odd resonances. Also, this hook has broken off entirely on that one. This feels a much more substantial crossbox. This is a Walker unit, so we're going to replace that. I should further add that it is pretty much exactly a year ago that Pete gave me this, so sorry Pete, it's taken me that long to actually get around to doing this job. Yeah, it was a year ago when I borrowed the 720. Yeah, and he gave me that free, very kindly. So I need to grab an 11mm spanner. I'll start dismantling my side. Eagle-eyed Mark spotted this little R-clip in the tray down the back of the engine bay. And that's from the gear linkage. So I've just tried tightening that up a bit because it shouldn't be able to just pop out like that. Oh no, that's gone. Yeah, that's for some reason that has lost its strength, so that's not doing anything at all. That's a clip that came with the kit, whereas on here I've obviously used the original clip. We're missing a little washer there as well, I think. Yeah, motor another. Yeah. Nice simple job getting the exhaust crossbox off, only it wasn't at all. We had some serious issues with bolts not wanting to come undone. In fact, we've still got one clamp down here. We may well have to chop that because that nut is just spinning. It doesn't want to come off that bolt anymore. Also hoping I actually have some replacement bolts, or that's going to be a bit of a pain, but worth doing anyway, it turns out, because this exhaust, this is where they tend to start blowing first, is on this joint. So that's a hole, that's technically an MOT failure. So yeah, not good, but you can see where this has just snapped off. That's not ideal. There's plenty of oil and muck. I don't know if Ellie's picked up new oil leaks, but she or whether it's historic from when her oil cooler was leaking again. Oh look, lovely clean hands. But yeah, we shall go hunting for bolts and see if we can get her running again. After tea, yes. Tea is all important. Which is a handy time to mention, but should you like 2CVs, you can avail yourself of these mugs. Actually, have we got these mugs in stock?
Sure we've got the power ones.
Oh, this is so Hubnut. We haven't got any of these at all. We've got other mugs though.
No, the other mugs.
Tuk mugs we got, yeah, for definite. Brad, this is more t-shirts we got? No?
Not so much.
Tuk t-shirts we've got. Yeah, we should be working on the Invercar.
We've got Doom, we've got
lots of Hubnut tools, Betty. Yeah, yep. So
and Foxanne.
I say that. I think I took the last medium tools t-shirt.
That's a bit rude, isn't it?
Yeah, so we might have to restock those as well. So yes, general cares at Hubnut store. Head to hubnut.org and you'll find a link. Sales mode ends. Rubbish. We're a few days on now, and sadly we were at the impact of COVID in our lives, which I'll be talking about more on the Hubnotes channel, so do head over there if you haven't recently. We're part way through the exhaust change on Ellie the 2CV, and I've now got new hardware, which means I can fit the new Crossbox, the one given to me by Pete Sparrow of Sparrow Automotive over a year ago. Sorry Pete, we're going to fit that and see if it makes the horrible resonating noise go away. I wish I'd kept the old Crossbox, because if you shook it, there was definitely stuff going on inside it, but that's gone to the tip. It also had a hole. I can't remember if I showed you, it had a hole on this joint here. So it was time for that to go. That has gone to the bin. So yeah, that's the plan. I'm going to try and get that Crossbox done today. I'm merging all this into one, but we've also got an Oltcit update. This is not a Fiesta XR2, despite appearances. It is an Oltcit Club 11R, and I know it confuses a lot of people. This project is going on hold for winter. There is no point rushing to get this car on the road. The weather is starting to turn already. The seasons are changing. There is no point getting this car out onto salty roads, so we're going to park that project. I do need an inner track rod. You saw in the previous video, I've had a quick look online and I cannot find one. All the retailers in Europe don't seem to have them, so if you can help with that, do let me know. I'll be getting in touch with all the Oltcit owners on Facebook, and hopefully we can find one of those. So we're still going to be getting parts in, but that project is not going to be proceeding really until the weather is better. I've had a slight issue. I was trying to top the fuel up the other day because she's very, very low, and the key snapped off, and so did the lock itself. So this is a bit stuck in place. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to rectify this situation. I would like to get this car running because it needs to come out so Foxanne can come out, which I've talked about in the vlog on the Hubnotes channel. So yeah, I've also got to clear Foxanne of all this detritus. We'll start with the exhaust. So yeah, a bit stuck here, but really we need that car to go back here. And I also need it out of the way because Tuck's going to have to come out for reasons that will also become apparent in the future. But yeah, enough waffle. Let's see if we can get this Crossbox fitted. Now, it must be said, and a lot of people have been commenting on this already just based on photos, this job is quite a lot easier if you take the wings off, but it's an awful lot of faff and runs the risk of damaging the paint, and the wiring on this car is a complete mess, so it's not actually quite as easy to remove the wings as I would like. So stage one is going to be to get the new Crossbox in, and that's quite interesting in itself. We may need to jack the car up. As good clanking noises suggest we're starting to get the sort of clearance we need to pull the horns of the Crossbox up. So just behind the brake disc here, we've got a bolt sticking out of the gearbox, and the Crossbox hooks onto that. I'm going to have to use both hands to do it. And I think my issue before, one of those had snapped off, so that was allowing the Crossbox to move in ways it really shouldn't. So next job is trying to get a good alignment on the clamps. That's where we probably find we need to slacken off these front clamps to allow the heat exchangers to move so we can get a good alignment. Otherwise we won't get a good seal on the clamps. I never use exhaust paste on a 2CV exhaust. I just use a bit of copper grease. So definitely have to slacken that one off. We might get away with that one. That one's looking all right. And we'll just have a look at where the swan neck, actually where the exhaust goes off to the rest of the car. Check how that's sitting. And I think that's going to be good as well. So the swan neck clamp is a 47mm, all the others are 49. And the clamps are helpfully over here on the Charade. And yeah, the bolts are sadly in very poor condition. I think that one is spinning and won't come off. But we might replace all the nuts and bolts anyway, just to make life easier. So these are Burton exhaust clamps that I've had for quite a while now, and they're good because they kind of encircle the whole clamp and they sort of encourage it to pull together, so they're well worth buying, a good upgrade. So our alignment on this back clamp is perfect. I don't know why I undid that. I undid the wrong clamp. Brilliant. Well, there we go. I've ended up loosening both front clamps on the exhaust system. If we come around here, we can see why I'm having to do this. You can see the alignment between the two clamps is not very good, but now I can move that so that when I, sorry, the light's not very good there, when I bring that up, it'll meet. So that's what we're trying to do, is just get those in a place where they'll meet nice and cleanly. And then we'll get the copper grease, bung it in, and start clamping everything up with fancy new bolts. Incidentally, if you would like to buy any merchandise, these lovely super warm hoodies are £30 each. We order those in as and when needed. We've got Tuck, Power Less is More, as I'm wearing today, and Betty Goes Global available as hoodies. We've got Betty Goes Global coming in navy. I've got a sample on the way, so we should be able to offer some different colours for a change. So some people might be interested in that. The beanie hats, lovely and warm, and are £9 each. So you can buy the merchandise, just head to hubnut.org and you'll find a direct link to the store. Might need the hammer of gentle persuasion. I always tend to use a hammer to knock the clamps round once they're tight as well. So a hammer definitely worth having. Well, I mean, that's a general rule for life, isn't it? A hammer's always worth having. But I'll offer some words of gentle encouragement to the bolt to go through the exhaust clamp. Oh, that's rather artistic with the light there. Should we move you over here a bit? And maybe that is a bit less soft focus. I'll just give that a bit of a tap. There we go, that bolts through. Next bolt. Oh, that's gone through much more cleanly. I'm going to take the gloves off at this point, I think. Hold on to those, show me the charade, because this is fiddly and I'm kind of going in blind. So bolt's going on by touch. There we go. Now you can't just go and tighten every exhaust tightly in the engine bay on a 2CV. Oh no, you have to kind of snug them all up and just keep going round, snugging them all up as you go. So that one's snuggish. Now come round and do the other side. So a quick tip for people making videos is I usually don't do this long format shooting. This is a bit unusual for me because when I get back, this is going to be an absolute sod to edit, because it's just going to be a big long video clip, which A, means my laptop will take ages to process it, and B, it then takes me ages to actually, I'm just going to have to encourage that slightly. Where's my encourager stick gone? It takes longer to edit. There it is. Fun job. I was once doing this exact job on my Citroen Diane when I still lived in Birmingham, and I got shouted at by some local bloke because I was doing it just over the road from my house, in a cul-de-sac, and the police came round, and they were like, "So, oh, we've had a complaint." I was just like, "Why are you getting involved?" They couldn't take any action. They just told me not to do it again. And I said, well, I'm sorry, that's where I'm going to work, because the main road going past my house was a bus route, and not terribly fun to work on your car in. It's just different times I get. I'm just rotating the clamp slightly there, so I can actually get in with a spanner. We've got the heat exchanger, handbrake cables, all manner of fun going on down here. So just snug that one up a bit. Oh, there's so little space down here. Even if I took the wing off, I'm still trying to get past the brake disc and the chassis and the other exhaust pipe. I've got the battery clamp fingers trying to go up my nose. So yeah, truly I feel like one of life's winners right at this very moment. I'm getting laughed at by crows. Oh yeah, life is good. Oh yes, you can really feel this one in the quads down the back of the leg. Oh, no, quads are down the front of the leg, aren't they? That's actual thigh muscles I'm ripping to pieces at the moment. Now we've just got the bolts on the side of the gearbox, and it's just finding the right combination of things to actually get in on that. Thread my way in. There we go. Yeah, I think that might be part of the problem, to be honest. I think this bolt is way too long. Well, after far too long, I got the bolt out. That is a bit too long for that location. It's also really badly damaged, perhaps from the exhaust hanging from it. I mean, the exhaust should be attached solidly to the gearbox. So that bolt is scrap. There we go, that's a bit shorter. I've got a jack under the crossbox, so I can hopefully get this straight into the hole. Yep, that's definitely going. And then we can swap the spanner for the extension with universal joint. I don't know what that long bolt was doing in there. I must have fitted that stupidly at some point, thinking it would make it easier to hang the exhaust. But it was so long, I was actually scared to try and tighten it into the gearbox. The last thing I want to do is knacker up the gearbox casing. I did that once with Ellie when I did her first rebuild. I managed to install the speedo drive, the cable, so incorrectly that it actually span through the back of the gearbox casing. Fortunately, you can replace just the back of the gearbox casing. It is a separate item. Alright, now we find out whether that has achieved anything or if the exhaust is now blowing horribly. I imagine she'll take a bit of cranking. She's been sitting for weeks, like I say. Wait for the fuel to come through. This is where we just have a sanity check to make sure we haven't knocked any wires off. HT lead there. Coil wires attached thusly. Yeah, I can smell the petrol starting to come. I think she'll go next time. Well, it's giving it a good shake test. Oh, that sounds flatulent. pretty good. That clamp's pretty good. That clamp's pretty good. That clamp's pretty good. Oh, the swan neck is spinning around. Did I not tighten that at all? That's impressive. Thank you, Ellie. We'll turn you off because it's already getting hot on the old exhaust. And we'll try and tighten up something I've clearly not tightened up. Right then, I think we're ready for take 2 on that. Oh, let's take the light out of there, shall we? Might be an idea. A bit blowy on that exhaust, let's give that a tweak. It's pretty good, I think. A little bit of chuff going on, but no, there's no leaks. No, I would say that was successful then. The proof will be in the test drive pudding though. The big question is, has it made any difference at all? Sort of. There's still something not right in that engine bay. There is still a resonance which is happening as the revs come up. It's better, it's definitely better, but that is still a problem, I fear. Yeah, how strange, but it's a bit better, but still there. I think fundamentally this engine may be a bit flawed. I've no idea what's causing that vibration though. Just a reminder, the bottom end of this engine is one, it's completely unknown to me. It's part of a parts stash I got my hands on some years ago. And yeah, we had to throw that engine together to go to Croatia. So maybe I need a new bottom end, but that would be the third bottom end these pistons and barrels have been on. And if it's just making a noise and not actually doing any other symptoms, I'm reluctant to get into mucking about with engines. I think we'll just keep going and see what happens. Well, there we go. It's good to be back in the 2CV, even if she's still making odd noises. But yeah, wonderful. I hope you've enjoyed that video. I'm sorry it's been a bit chaotic and spread out over a couple of weeks, but yeah, life has been a bit crazy lately. Don't forget you can head to the Hubnut store and buy lovely merchandise, including Power Less is More hoodies, t-shirts. I'm hoping to restock fairly soon, the Power Less is More, and we've also got beanie hats, key rings, lots of other things. So yeah, look forward to seeing you in a future video. Farewell.